This controversial figure says what's on his mind, and not everybody appreciates that. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 reasons Bill Maher is hated.
Third gerbil comes forward to accuse Richard Gere. Oh, that's terrible.
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at the reasons some people dislike this comedian/talk show host. We're not saying we hate Bill Maher, but we can see why others do.
It's like playing tennis with Serena Williams. You're a quick...
I'm a strong black woman.
Number 10. His 9/11 remarks on politically incorrect.
Americans have got to learn how to take a joke.
Following the September 11th attacks, the United States was in a somber mood, and people were careful not to disrespect the country's newfound sense of unity through tragedy. Unfortunately, when Maher's politically incorrect show came back on the air, he decided not to play along.
We have been the cowards, lobbing cruise missiles from 2,000 miles away. That's cowardly.
During a discussion with his panel, the host made controversial statements about the courage it takes to carry out a suicide attack, while questioning the bravery or honor of American fighting methods overseas. After receiving complaints from viewers and advertisers, ABC canceled the show in 2002.
But you know, we had a good run, 9 years. That's a long time to have a television show.
Number 9. His sexist comments.
On any TV show in America, if somebody got up there and said, you know, women are smarter than men, automatic round of applause. If somebody said men are smarter than women, you'd be booed off the stage.
In a 2009 episode of Real Time, upon hearing that Tila Tequila had allegedly been choked in a domestic dispute with her boyfriend at the time, Maher joked that the choking was inevitable. In 2008, while Hillary Clinton was running for president, Maher suggested Clinton cried to emotionally manipulate people, and then went on to generalize that that was something women typically do.
Of course, if Michelle is right and Jesus is on his way back, he'll be the first man she ever saw coming.
It's not the fact that Maher goes after conservative Republican politicians like Michelle Bachmann and Sarah Palin. It's the gendered nature of his criticism that's invited accusations of sexism.
Now that many Republicans have come forward in the last week to finally admit that, okay, you were right, Sarah Palin is a crazy person.
Number 8. He provides a platform to questionable guests.
Let's go high with a nice greeting for Ann Coulter, all right?
Over the years, Maher's talk shows have attracted diverse guests from different backgrounds and political leanings, including some individuals we'd have preferred not to hear from. Ann Coulter has appeared on several of Bill Maher's shows, giving her the opportunity to spew her bigotry.
Even if it were true, these aren't people we have to have here. We already have our own rapists and murderers. We don't need to be bringing in more.
Maher may have hit a new low, however, when he invited Breitbart tech editor and internet troll Milo Yiannopoulos to sit down for a chat. When Milo stepped down from Breitbart a few days after the interview, Maher even had the nerve to take credit, claiming it was because of the spotlight he put Yiannopoulos under. Of course, it was more likely because of the Milo condones pedophilia thing.
If I banned everyone from my show who I thought was colossally wrong, I would be talking to myself.
Well, you wouldn't have Ann Coulter on, which is the only time I watch the show.
I wouldn't have Jack Kingston on, who's on tonight.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Number 7. He often crosses over from politically incorrect into shock jock territory.
How do you know that she didn't rape him? How do you know that she didn't seduce him?
How can a woman rape a man?
Political correctness is one of Maher's favorite targets, as he believes society has taken the concept to an unreasonable extreme. However, it could be argued that Bill is the one who regularly takes things too far, given his propensity towards cheap shots that seem intentionally incendiary. The comedian has mocked the disabled on several occasions, like when he compared, quote, mentally retarded children to dogs, and when he made fun of Sarah Palin's son, who has Down syndrome. Commenting on Mary Kay Letourneau, he suggested that it's okay for adult teachers to have sex with underage students if their relationship is based on love. Well, that's one way to get your viewers talking.
So basically they're having a family and they're keeping the mother in jail because she won't conform to what society feels should be the perfect American family.
Number 6. He takes himself too seriously.
And you feel a whole lot better.
Even now, my mom thinks it's her fault.
Okay, enough about your mom.
Shock jock tendencies aside, Maher clearly believes the majority of what he says, and seems frustrated that the world doesn't agree with him across the board. When Maher holds discussions with his panels, he acts as if he has assembled a brain trust that's set to solve all of the world's problems.
Well, I think the country in general is on a decline.
In 2008, he released a documentary that satirized religion called Religulous because he felt it was his duty to enlighten the rest of us on the dangers of organized religion. Ironically, all he was really doing with his film was preaching to the converted.
And anyone who tells you they know, they just know what happens when you die, I promise you, you don't.
Number 5. He's intolerant.
The name Islam means peace.
And yet it is involved in a lot of war and violence.
Yeah, it's just all politics.
Bill likes to go after people he considers to be agents of intolerance, yet he doesn't seem to recognize that same intolerance within himself. He savagely attacks those he disagrees with, his favorite targets being Republicans and people of faith, particularly Muslims.
Now, of course it's wrong when any Muslim American is given a dirty look, asked extra questions, but it's not the same as people getting shot.
Maher has a habit of making all Muslims out to be extremists because he considers the dogma of their religion to be extreme. Of course, Maher gets help from his atheist friends Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris, who come on his show and argue about what they consider to be Islam's true intentions, while making inflammatory statements about the religion. Curiously absent from most of these discussions, an actual supporter of Islam. Number 4. He has zero humility, but plenty of arrogance.
But this is what you do? You find the place where you were right and the guest was wrong, and then you invite them?
It's so rare. It's so rare, Bill.
Not one to concede an argument, Maher has developed a reputation for refusing to admit when he's wrong. Should a particular argument stop going his way, he's been known to get out of it as soon as possible.
You know, not everybody can be the person drawing on the cave. Some people have to go out and hunt and actually gather the wood.
He also looks down on a whole variety of demographics that he believes have the wrong set of values, including millennials, residents of Middle America, or even his own audience if they don't laugh at his jokes. Famed chef and personality Anthony Bourdain, when commenting on his experience as a guest on Real Time, called Maher, quote, insufferably smug, and claimed that the Real Time host, quote, lives in a bubble.
But here, I worked in the clubs. I paid my dues.
Number 3. He claims to be a libertarian, when really, he's just a Hollywood liberal. On many occasions, Maher has labeled his political leanings as libertarian. However, that entails believing in limited government, which Bill does not. He supports gun control, strong bank regulations, and the death penalty, all issues any self-respecting libertarian would despise.
I guess in 1994 or something, I said something about libertarianism, and ever since they've been, Bill, you're not a real libertarian. I'm like, you're right, I'm not a real libertarian. I believe in smoking pot, and that's about it.
He also praises left-wing politicians like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who push policies that would not attract libertarians. Many suspect that when Maher said he was libertarian, he just wanted marijuana and prostitution to be legalized. To his credit, Maher has stopped calling himself libertarian in recent years. But really, it doesn't seem like a change of heart so much as a change in his personal branding.
I didn't go nuts. This movement did.
Number 2. He is misinformed.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer, never have been. I'm an anti-flu shot guy, because I think that's bullshit.
Maher has taken a lot of bold positions, and often, the groundwork he lays for them is flat out wrong. He's come out against GMOs and vaccines, which are commonly accepted in the mainstream and in the scientific community.
I'm not saying the vaccines cause them. I'm saying I think there's a lot of environmental factors that causes this shit.
When discussing complex policies, he oversimplifies the issues and forms opinions based on biased information. On numerous occasions, he's made generalizations only to have been corrected by a guest, who just so happens to be an expert on the subject being discussed. There's politically incorrect, and then there's factually incorrect.
I think you can make a pretty good argument at this point that rich white people may represent more of the environmental problem.
Number 1. His sense of entitlement is shocking.
Work in the field.
That's part of that. That's
Senator. I'm a house. No, it's a joke.
In 2017, during an interview with Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse, Maher felt the need to drop the N-word. Though the word was intended by Maher comically in a self-referential way, this controversial choice earned him far more flack than even he's used to. there were many calls for him to be fired immediately.
What made you think that it was cool to say that?
Perhaps Maher's past history dating black women made him believe that he had unique insight into the African American experience. But if so, he was sorely mistaken. Nothing entitles a white person to use that word. Yes, he apologized, but an individual in his position has no excuse. It's not like he didn't know better.
You might have a black girlfriend or two that made him some Kool-Aid every now and then, and they think they can cross the line, and they can't.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.